Hey, hey.
Look at you. Are you ready for me?
Oh, man, I cannot wait. All summer I've been waiting for this. 10 minutes are wrong.
Okay, let's get the NFL thing out of the way. Let me guess. You're one of these media people. You are just outraged by how Andrew Luck was treated.
100% I'm outraged by it. The Indianapolis fans are a disgrace.
Oh, that's gosh.
Why? I'm sorry. Wait, you're defending the fans for booing a guy?
4 Bud Lights in, fourth quarter preseason game, jarring sudden news.
Listen, 4 Bud Lights in doesn't give you an excuse to do anything. Everybody's like, oh, don't worry, honey, I was drunk. It still happened. No. I think that it was a total disgrace. First of all, I think this entire reaction is born out of jealousy and resentment.
Oh, Lord.
And it fuels an entitlement that I think is epidemic of our culture. And it's like, what does Andrew Luck owe the guy in the third deck? Nothing, all right? He already already paid the ultimate athletic price, which was his body. His body is finished. He cannot play anymore. He cannot play. There's a standard by which you've got to play and mentally prepare and be in. You got to be all in to do it at the level that Andrew Luck wants to do it at, and he cannot do that anymore, so he's going to step away. And I also thought it was selfless of him. He's stepping away from money. He could have gone through the motions. Hey, guy in the third deck, on your 4th beer, as you like to say. You want Andrew Luck to just go through the motions and take your money for the next 3 years and not be competitive and sit out and not play hard and just take a paycheck? Well, of course not.
You're asking for a lot of contextualization in the moment for a human being. You never had a temper tantrum in your life or threw a rosin
why do you
bag?
Want everyone to be kids? You want everyone to be kids. You want dessert first.
Yeah.
You desperately want to be a child. React like a child.
I got Dr. Lore over here. All right, let's get into college football.
Let's do it.
I tell you what team you like. You like Texas because I think you like their quarterback because he reminds me of you in college. Not a ton of talent, but a ton of heart.
That's a good line. And you know what? He's got an immense amount of talent, way more than I had.
I like him.
There's
Sam
no
Ehlinger.
doubt. I like Sam Ehlinger a lot. I think Sam Ehlinger is the best value in the Heisman odds by far. He's all the way down there like 25-1, not getting much love whatsoever. And yet when you look at Power 5 football since the year 2000, there's only been 5 players that have thrown for 25 touchdown passes and run for 15 touchdowns.
He's got a Tebow quality. He's incredibly likable, and the players,
and he's an alpha,
and they feed off him. He's very Tebow-esque to me.
He very much is. By the way, Tim Tebow is one of those guys that threw for 25 and ran for 15. The other guys are guys like Marcus Mariota, Johnny Manziel, Cam Newton, and Lamar Jackson. They all won Heisman trophies. This guy is the reason they won 10 games. He only turned the ball over 6 times. He had his biggest games in big moments. Ask Georgia how physical, how tough, and how quality of a leader Sam Ehlinger is. I really like Sam Ehlinger. Yeah. I like Texas. I think they're a coin flip with Oklahoma to win the Big 12.
Yeah, I like him. I don't know. I've always liked Texas football, even when I was a kid. I like the uniforms.
I think it's the uni. I love the unis.
I love the unis. My favorite uni in college football. I don't even know why.
I still get nightmares kind of from the uniform. Quick story about Texas. Okay, so if you don't know, you can Google it and YouTube it. Yeah. My last play of my college career was against Texas. They beat us 70-3. Vince Young's national championship year in the Big 12 championship game. They put me in the hospital. That was my last play.
Yeah.
The first thing I remember, I don't remember the game, Colin. You know what I remember? I woke up in like a Texas Memorial Hospital in Houston, a University of Texas Memorial Hospital, and the doctor had the Longhorn stitched in his coat. And I was like, no, they're coming after me. What is happening? And I freaked out.
You know what I remember? You had about 8 guys wide open, and you missed all of them that game.
Oh, here it is. Way to go. And bam, lights out.
Lord.
Yeah, right on the chin.
Boom. All right, let's shift to this. Harbaugh. You and I have defended Harbaugh.
We have.
Okay, but this is his best group of receivers.
Yeah.
This is his best O-line.
Yeah.
Shea Patterson, year 2.
Yep.
Urban Meyer's out of the conference. I'm done with excuses. Wisconsin doesn't have their quarterback right, although I love their O-line and their running back. Michigan's got to win the Big Ten now, right?
I agree. And it's actually why I've put them ahead of Ohio State, at least in my poll. Because, and you have to contextualize this a little bit even further. It's not just that Urban is gone. This is the first time that we've seen this in college football history. A team and a program lose a guy that won 90% of his games at the school, and a first-round draft choice at quarterback in Dwayne Haskins, and a defensive coordinator. And by the way, just to throw on top of that, Ohio State has lost the most first-round defensive players of the last 4 years in college football.
Wow.
So if Michigan does not beat Ohio State this year, there's no more excuses, because everything you said about Michigan is correct. This is their best offensive line that he's had. They've got the best core of wide receivers, I think, in the conference. Shea Patterson now has an offensive coordinator in Josh Gaddis that suits him more.
2 years now starting. 2 years,
and you still have Don Brown as your defensive coordinator.
Great.
There are no excuses for Michigan. They have to win the Big Ten and compete for a playoff spot this year, or it's going to get messy in Ann Arbor.
Listen, when I look at Clemson and Alabama, I put them here. Even Georgia, who everybody loves. There's only 2 teams among the ACC and the SEC who have winning records in the last 3 years against top 25 teams. Clemson's is great. Bama's is great. Georgia's only 500.
Yeah.
So I don't put Georgia in that class. I do think they probably have the 3rd best personnel in the country.
Sure.
Is there a team? Let's take Alabama out. Let's take Georgia out, because the 3 in the country we all agree with.
It's Georgia. That's right.
Yeah.
That would be the 3rd one. I would agree with that. So
throw me a team like everybody's on LSU.
I'm not as big on LSU because they're in the same division as Alabama. You're not even the best team in your division, right? So to me, you've got to have a conference championship caliber team in order to compete for a playoff spot. And then you've also got to be balanced enough, not only across your team, but your coaching staff in order to win. Colin, I'm going to say Texas.
I think I agree with you.
And here's the reason. Because Texas, we saw physically can go up and stand toe-to-toe with the likes of a Georgia.
Yes.
And physically beat them up. Remember now, Georgia had run for over 300 yards in 5 straight games leading into the SEC championship game last year. Then they ran for over 100 against Alabama. And Colin, guess how many they ran for against Texas? 72 yards in the Sugar Bowl.
That was a physical beatdown for first 3 quarters at least.
Meanwhile, Texas is running for 178 yards.
Yeah.
And so... And there's also this way, people in Oklahoma are going to get upset with this, but there's also coach makeup. Think about this just real quick. When we talk about coaches that win national championships, they generally don't call their own plays. If you look back all the way back to 1990, there's only 2 guys that won a national championship while calling their own offensive plays. That's Jimbo Fisher at Florida State and Steve Spurrier at Florida. Everybody else is a CEO. So while I love Lincoln Riley, I really do. I think he's the best coach that has not won a national championship. I don't think it's the right blueprint to win one.
No,
Whereas Tom Herman, I think, fits that blueprint. And again, Oklahoma fans can be mad all they want. They've had great teams, historic level quarterback play, and they haven't gotten it done in large part because they've been too offensive centric.
All right. Who are the top 5 quarterbacks for you in college football this year?
Trevor
Lawrence, Clemson. That's a no-brainer.
Tua.
I'm not as high as everybody else is.
I like Justin Herbert a lot at Oregon.
I think he's a good talent. Let's see him win some games away from Autzen Stadium.
I like Sam Ehlinger.
He's not a pro, but he's good, yeah.
Yeah, but remember now, you can be a great college player not a great pro prospect.
Jake Fromm's good.
And then I like Jake Fromm from Georgia. Jake Fromm plays really well in big moments. He played great against Bama in the SEC championship game last year.
I like him.
And the reason I'm flat in love with Trevor Lawrence is because you talk about playing best when your best is needed. When you look at those guys, and in particular in a comparison to Tua, when Trevor Lawrence faced a top 30 defense last year, Colin, his numbers went through the roof. His completion percentage went way up. His touchdown to interception ratio was better. 6 touchdowns, no interceptions, and his rating went way up when facing better defenses. Meanwhile, if you did the same experiment with Tua in his 4 games against top 30 defenses versus the other competition, his completion percentage went way down. He went 6 touchdowns, 6 interceptions.
Wow.
And his rating went way down. So you can make the argument that Trevor is a better big game player than Tua, even though we saw Tua in the national championship game a couple of years ago beat Georgia in that comeback fashion.
Yeah, Alabama quarterbacks tend to play within a system structure.
I'll tell you, though, he's got Jerry Jeudy. Oh,
Yeah,
Jerry Jeudy is good.
Yeah, he's fine. I like Lawrence. I'm a Trevor Lawrence guy. You know, I saw him in high school. Because one of us on the weekends puts a little extra time in.
I'm sorry, one of us?
Yeah, I went down and saw him play in San Diego at a camp. That's when you're committed to your profession. Yeah. You were out there sailing in the sea. I was out there looking at high school football in the sea. Tape.
Where else do you sail, first of all? Second of all, while I'm in here digging into these quarterbacks in college football, you're out there riding the horse like Zorro of Baker Mayfield's not going to do anything with the Browns. You're still on that one.
Nope. I gave that one up. Not even interested. May not talk about it until December. All right. I want to move to something because I see this thing right here, and this is a bunch of hooey. So I always let you have I let you have an upset pick of the week. Okay. Give me your two. One of them's ridiculous. Go ahead.
Why is it ridiculous?
Go ahead. Throw them out there.
I like Oregon over Auburn.
Oh, God. That's not even an upset. It's a
Check Vegas. Yes, it is.
3.5.
Check Fox Bet.
Okay.
Little company plug there.
It's not Oregon beating Auburn with the better O-line and the better NFL quarterback. That's not an upset. That's just a game. Let me give you an upset. Hey, get that bell ready. Here's one for you.
Based on what? Collins odds?
Hey, no.
Hey, based on my take, that's not an upset. I'm telling you it is.
Oregon plus 3.5. Fox Sports Bet, the new company here. That's not an upset. How about a new rule?
That is an upset.
I got to create new legislation to keep you on the up and up.
I've got to take games with over a 5-point spread, 6-point spread?
Well, that would be an upset.
All right, let's see, a 6-point spread.
Okay, I'll give you one right now.
Go ahead.
Do you have that bell thing? Okay.
The bell thingy.
Northwestern goes to Palo Alto and beats Stanford.
You stole that from me.
Hey, it doesn't matter where I get my information.
Oh, my goodness. This is unbelievable.
What?
Behind the curtains here, Colin and I had a conversation 30 minutes before a show, and I was like, I tell you the game I really like. I think Northwestern goes in and beats Stanford. He goes, no, really? Do you really think that? And now you're using it against me on the bell segment?
Hey, time out.
Thank you, Joey.
Well, wait.
No, I said prove it.
Yeah, no kidding. Prove it. That's a good one. Prove it.
Don't the cell phones now just record all of our conversations?
Doesn't matter where I get my upset. If I stole it from you, it's still usable.
You are a thief and a liar and a thief.
No, there's an old saying. I steal from everybody. It's called research. You steal from one guy, it's called a thief. I steal from everybody. It's just research. If I was just stealing from you, I'd be a thief.
That's big J journalism right there. You're a travesty and a sham and a
college
mockery.
Expert. Where's a better place to get your information?
Hey, I gotta
He's
read
a
this.
travesty and mockery.
All right, Joel Klatt, game. It's the fighting Lane Kiffins against Ohio State. Noon.
Big noon Saturday. Debut at Big Noon Saturday. Here we go.
And 11 a.m. is the Urban and Reggie and
Matt,
Brady and Matt and Rob Stone, everything. All right, real quick, M-Drive. Go to mdriveformen.com today. Refine your prime, burn fat, have abs, and look fantastic. That's the one thing Klatt's got over me. He's still got abs.
That's right, and you can't steal them.
Yeah, that's the only thing you got over me. All right, hour 3 coming up. It's The Herd.